7 jacket brands men should ever buy, and 5 that are actually worth it. Not every expensive jacket is a good jacket. Some jackets sell protection, style, heritage, performance, and masculinity, but when you get close, the story changes. The lighting in the store is perfect. The mannequin looks expensive, the zipper is shiny, the tag says premium, the copy says heritage, the logo is placed exactly where people can see it. Then you touch the fabric, thin polyester, a basic zipper, a light synthetic lining, no reinforcement where the stress happens, no serious weather protection. No construction detail that explains the price, and suddenly the question becomes very simple. Is the money in the jacket or is the money in the label? That is the entire video. We are looking at 7 jacket brands men should be very careful with, and then 5 brands that actually deserve your attention. Not because they are perfect, not because every piece they make is magic, but because the money is easier to see in the fabric, the construction, the cut, the durability, or the function. A jacket is one of the easiest menswear categories to fake. A t-shirt feels cheap immediately. A bad sneaker starts creasing fast, but a jacket can trick you. It has weight, it has pockets, it has padding, it hangs on your shoulders and makes you feel like you bought something substantial. That is why men overpay. They confuse bulk with quality. They confuse lining with warmth. They confuse a famous logo with real construction. So before we name brands, here is the rule. A good jacket has to prove its price. Look at the outer fabric. Is it waxed cotton, dense canvas, real wool, real leather, real suede? Look at the lining. Is it thick enough to matter, or is it a shiny sheet of synthetic fabric that feels like the inside of a cheap gym bag? Look at the zipper. Is it smooth, sturdy, and easy to operate, or does it feel like it came from a disposable backpack? Look at the seams. Are the stress points reinforced? Are the pockets built to hold something heavier than a receipt? Do the shoulders sit correctly? Does the jacket still look good when it is open? And most important, ask one question every time. If you remove the logo, would the jacket still make sense at that price? Let's start with the 7 brands men should be careful with. Number 7, Michael Kors. This is the kind of jacket that looks expensive from 10 feet away and becomes less convincing when you read the tag. Michael Kors sells a very specific fantasy: clean, urban, polished, a little luxury, but still accessible. The jacket is not trying to look like workwear. It is not trying to look like technical outdoor gear. It is trying to look like you have upgraded your life. And that is exactly where the trap is. You are not always buying a better jacket. Sometimes you are buying a better shopping experience. Look at the physical details. Michael Kors has sold men's windbreakers and bombers described by the brand itself as water-resistant polyester with 100% polyester shells. Polyester trim, polyester lining, machine wash construction, and imported production. That does not automatically make a jacket bad. Polyester can be useful, but it does mean the material itself is not rare. It is not automatically luxury. It is not automatically worth a premium just because the name on the tag is familiar. The consumer thinks he is buying refinement. What he may actually be buying is a normal lightweight jacket with a status signal attached to it. The detail that gives it away is the hand feel. If the shell is thin, slightly crinkly, and flat, and the lining feels light, the jacket has to justify its price somewhere else. Maybe the cut is great, maybe the design is perfect for your wardrobe. Maybe you found it at a deep discount, fine, but at full price, be careful. The man who should avoid this is the man who wants durability but is being seduced by polish. If you want a jacket that can age, get scuffed, take weather, and still look better later, this is usually not the first place to look. The better alternative is to move toward a specialist if you want clean rain protection. Look at real technical outerwear. If you want casual polish, look at waxed cotton. If you want a lightweight city jacket, compare it against Uniqlo before you pay for the logo. Michael Kors is not always selling garbage, but too often the money is easier to find, which on the label than in the shell. Number 6, Calvin Klein. Calvin Klein is dangerous because it feels tasteful, the branding is minimal. The colors are safe, the jackets do not scream, and because Calvin Klein has such a strong name in underwear, denim, fragrance, and American minimalism, men assume the outerwear carries the same authority. But jackets are not underwear. A logo that works on a waistband does not make a puffer warmer. A clean black tag does not make a zipper stronger. A minimalist design does not automatically mean premium construction. The issue here is not that every Calvin Klein jacket is terrible. The issue is the value equation. A lot of Calvin Klein outerwear exists in the department store universe, where the original price often feels more like a pricing strategy than a statement of true construction value, Macy's listings for Calvin Klein men's jackets
have shown examples with previous prices around $150, $175, $195, and even $250.
When a jacket can live comfortably at that kind of discount, you have to ask what the real price was in the first place.
There is also the licensing problem. GI3 Apparel Group has reported Calvin Klein licenses that included men's outerwear.
And for select Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger wholesale outerwear in the US and Canada, again, licensing is not automatically bad.
Many licensed products are perfectly wearable, but it does mean the name on the tag and the company making the jacket are not always
the same thing in the way consumers imagine. That matters, because when you buy a licensed jacket, you are often buying a brand promise.
Filtered through a category partner, a wholesale strategy, and a margin target, the consumer thinks he is buying Calvin Klein restraint. What he may be buying
is a mall outerwear product designed to hit a price, survive markdowns, and look clean on a rack.
The detail that gives it away is the discount. If the jacket is always on sale, the sale price might be the real price.
Treat the original price with suspicion. Calvin Klein outerwear makes sense when it is heavily discounted, fits well, and you understand exactly what it is.
A clean, basic jacket, it does not make sense when you treat it like a serious investment piece. The logo is minimal.
The markup may not be. Number 5, Tommy Hilfiger. Tommy Hilfiger sells Americana, the flag, the varsity feeling, the red, white, and blue.
The idea of old-school preppy confidence, a Tommy jacket can make a man feel like he is buying into a classic American wardrobe.
But heritage is only valuable when it shows up in the garment. A flag patch is not construction. A color block panel is not durability.
A nostalgic reference is not a stronger seam. Tommy Hilfiger outerwear lives in a similar danger zone to Calvin Klein. It is a famous lifestyle brand.
With huge recognition, wide distribution, and licensed wholesale outerwear activity in North America, GI3 reported Tommy Hilfiger men's and women's outerwear licenses,
and PVH's newer outerwear agreement with Herman K. Mystic covers select wholesale outerwear for Tommy Hilfiger and Calvin Klein, expected to launch in spring 2026. That tells you something important. This is not always the romantic version of a designer in a room obsessing over one jacket. This is a large brand machine. The product has to work for department stores, seasonal collections, markdown cycles, and broad customer expectations.
So when you see a Tommy jacket, inspect it like a product, not like a memory. Is the fabric special? Is the lining substantial?
Is the zipper impressive? Are the pocket openings reinforced? Does the collar hold shape? Does the ribbing feel dense, or does it already feel like it will stretch out by next winter? The consumer thinks he is buying American heritage. Often, he is buying a very recognizable uniform.
The physical detail that gives it away is the logo to construction ratio. If the flag is the most memorable part of the jacket, that is a problem. The man who should avoid Tommy Hilfiger outerwear is the man who wants a long-term staple, but keeps getting distracted by nostalgia.
If you want true heritage, buy a jacket where the history is visible in the material. Waxed cotton, heavy canvas, dense wool, real leather. Not just a patch. Tommy can look good, but a good-looking flag does not keep you warm. Number 4, Guess.
Guess is the brand for men who want the jacket to look like fashion immediately. Not after 10 years, not after it breaks in, immediately. That is the appeal. Guess is visual, it is trend-driven, it likes shine, logos, fitted shapes, contrast.
The problem is that jackets built for instant visual impact often age badly. They look good in the fitting room, they look good under store lighting.
They look good with black jeans and new sneakers. Then the finish gets tired, the synthetic padding flattens, the ribbing loses snap.
The logo detail starts to feel less like style and more like a timestamp. Guess describes its men's jackets and puffers as modern styles with premium fabrics, and some Guess bomber products list synthetic heavy builds such as nylon shells with polyester lining and polyester fill. Macy's has also listed Guess men's bombers,
with previous prices around $195 to $225, marked down 58 to 70% during specials. That combination should make you
is evil because the styling is often doing the heavy lifting. The consumer thinks he is buying confidence. What he may be buying
is a jacket designed for one season of attention. The detail that gives it away is the finish. If the jacket depends on shine,
logos, fake distressing, or hardware that feels light, ask how it will look after 20 wears. Ask how it will look when the trend moves. Ask whether it will still make sense without the branding. The man who should avoid GS is the man trying to build a mature wardrobe.
If you are buying a party jacket, fine. If you are buying your main jacket for the next 5 years, be careful.
A better move is a simple denim trucker, a canvas chore coat, or a clean bomber from a brand where the material matters more than the attitude. Guess sells the entrance, a good jacket has to survive the exit. Number 3, Zara. Zara is not pretending to be old heritage.
Zara is pretending to be now. That is the strength, and that is the problem. Zara can make a jacket look current faster than almost anyone. Cropped faux leather, oversized suede effect overshirts, technical bombers, minimal blend coats.
The long-term test is where you need discipline. Zara's own men's jacket pages show a wide range of trend-forward options, including faux leather jackets around $79.90 to $129, faux suede styles around $99.90-$19, and real suede pieces at higher prices. The brand also describes its jackets aimed around smart casual use, lightweight structures, smooth technical finishes, and contemporary faux leather appeal. That language tells you the product.
Again, not automatically bad, but if you buy Zara, you need to be honest, you are usually buying design access, not heirloom construction.
The consumer thinks he found a designer jacket for less. Sometimes he found a design reference made quickly enough to catch a trend.
The physical detail that gives it away is the inside. Turn the jacket inside out, look at the seams, look at the lining.
Look at how the pockets are attached. Look at the weight of the zipper. Look at the fabric content. Faux leather can look great on day one,
but once the surface starts cracking or peeling, the jacket does not develop patina, it just looks damaged. The man who should avoid Zara
is the man who buys one jacket and expects it to carry his wardrobe for years. Zara is better for experimentation than commitment. Buy the trend there if you must. Do not confuse trend speed with lasting value. Number 2. Nike Sportswear, this one needs nuance.
Nike is a real performance company. Nike can make legitimate athletic gear. Nike understands fabric, movement, heat, sweat, and sport better than most fashion brands.
But that does not mean every casual Nike jacket is a performance bargain. The dangerous zone is Nike Sportswear lifestyle outerwear. The swoosh has power.
The cuts are familiar, the colors are easy, the product feels athletic even when you are not buying serious weather protection. A Nike Tech Fleece Windrunner,
for example, is listed by Nike at $140 with a body composition of 53% cotton and 47% polyester, and Nike describes it as premium smooth fleece with warmth without bulk. That may be comfortable, it may fit your style, it may be exactly what you want.
But it is still a cotton poly fleece jacket, not a serious rain shell, not a heavy canvas work jacket, not a leather investment piece,
and not technical alpine outerwear. The consumer thinks he is buying technology. Often, he is buying sportswear identity.
The detail that gives it away is the function gap. Ask what the jacket actually does. Does it block rain? Does it block wind? Does it breathe? Does it insulate? Does it layer well? Or does it mostly signal that you bought into a sportswear uniform?
Nike is not a bad brand, but Nike lifestyle jackets can become expensive comfort pieces with a famous logo. And when the price climbs,
the question comes back, is the money in the product or in the swoosh? The man who should avoid this is the man who wants one jacket to handle real weather. If you need performance, buy from a technical outerwear line with clear specs.
If you just want the look, do not pretend you bought gear. A fleece hoodie with a zipper is still a fleece hoodie with a zipper. Even when the logo is powerful. Number 1, Armani Exchange. This is the most dangerous category because the name does the work before the jacket.
It even touches your body. Armani, that word carries weight. It suggests Italian elegance, tailoring, taste, luxury.
And expensive for a reason, but Armani Exchange is not Giorgio Armani tailoring. It is a Diffusion lifestyle line. Its own outerwear page talks about urban spirit. Modern Armani style, puffer jackets, parkas, windbreakers, gradients, color block combinations, bright hues. Read that carefully. The emphasis is style, city identity, and brand universe. That does not mean every jacket is bad, but it does mean the name can make a basic product feel more elevated than it is. The consumer thinks he is buying Armani. What he may be buying is Armani-flavored mall outerwear. The physical detail that gives it away is the disconnect between the name and the build. If the jacket has a designer price, but the hardware feels ordinary, the fabric feels average, the lining is thin, and the construction is simple, the label is carrying too much of the cost. The man who should avoid Armani Exchange is the man who wants luxury, but does not know how to inspect luxury.
Because this is where aspiration gets expensive. If you want a designer look, understand that design may be the thing you are paying for.
Not better warmth, not better rain protection, not better leather, not better stitching. There is nothing wrong with paying for design, but call it what it is.
A jacket should not get a luxury pass just because the name sounds expensive. Now here is the turn. Not every expensive jacket is a scam.
And not every cheap jacket is junk. A high price can be justified, but only when the money appears physically.
You can feel it in dense wool. You can see it in waxed cotton that can be reproofed. You can hear it in a heavy zipper. You can feel it in leather that breaks in instead of peeling. You can see it in reinforced seams, lined sleeves, strong pocket bags,
Clean patterning, and a collar that still holds shape after years. A good jacket is not expensive because the marketing says heritage. A good jacket is expensive because it survives, so now we rebuild the standard. 5 jacket brands that are actually worth considering. Number 5, Uniqlo. Uniqlo is not romantic, and that is exactly why it deserves respect. Uniqlo does not usually sell you a fantasy of rebellion, luxury, or old world adventure. It sells basics, clean lines, useful materials, reasonable prices, quiet design. That matters because in jackets, honesty is value. The best Uniqlo outerwear is not trying to be a lifetime leather jacket. It is not pretending to be a luxury waxed coat. It works when you buy the right model.
For the right job, the BlockTech Parka is a good example. Uniqlo describes it as wind-resistant and water-resistant, with water-repellent taping at the front fastener. Articulated shoulder patterning, adjustable hem, cuffs, and hood, while also being clear that it is not completely waterproof on the US outerwear page. Jackets like the Harrington, zip-up blouson, pocketable UV protection parka, BlockTech Parka, PuffTech jacket against small brand outerwear. That transparency is useful. You know what you are buying. The model that makes the most sense depends on the job. The BlockTech Parka for light rain and city wind, a Harrington for clean casual style, a denim or utility jacket when you want simple cotton-based layering.
The value is not that Uniqlo makes the best jacket in the world. The value is that it often gives you a clean product without charging you
For fake prestige, buy new when the price is already fair and the fit is right. Buy on sale when you are filling a practical gap.
Do not buy Uniqlo expecting a jacket to become an heirloom. Buy it because the price and purpose line up. This is the brand for the man who wants function without flexing. The logo is almost invisible. That is part of the appeal. Shot NYC
Actually means something. A leather jacket is one of the easiest pieces to ruin with marketing. Brands love saying leather, but leather can mean many things.
Thin lambskin, corrected grain, coated leather, split leather, fashion leather that looks good until the surface gets tired. Shot is different because the money is visible.
In the material and construction, take the Shot 1618 Perfecto. Shot describes it as made from US-sourced, drum-dyed linens with an asymmetrical front zipper, belt, snap-down lapels, zippered sleeve cuffs, bi-swing back panels.
That is what a real spec sheet sounds like. Not premium feel, not urban attitude, actual construction.
The model that makes the most sense for most men is not always the most extreme perfecto. A classic motorcycle jacket is iconic, but it has attitude.
It can dominate an outfit. Some men will do better with a Shot Cafe Racer, bomber, or simpler leather jacket, but the principle holds.
When Shot charges real money, the money is easier to locate. You see it in the hide, you feel it in the weight.
You notice it in the break-in. A good leather jacket should not look worse after wear. It should look more like yours. Buy new if you know the fit and want the break-in journey yourself. Buy used if you understand sizing and can inspect the leather for dryness.
Cracking, stains, and damaged lining. This is the brand for the man who wants one leather jacket for a decade or more. A cheap leather jacket tries to look perfect on day 1. A good leather jacket is still becoming itself on day 1000. Number 3, barber.
Barber is what happens when heritage is attached to maintenance, not just advertising. The wax jacket is not magic. It has limitations.
It is not the best jacket for heavy tropical heat. It is not a technical shell. It can feel stiff. It needs care.
But that is the point. It is a real material with a real use case. The Barber Classic Bedale is listed with an outer of 100% waxed cotton, 100% cotton lining, and 6-ounce waxed cotton. Barber's own guide describes the Bedale as a shorter, relaxed-fit jacket made from medium-weight 6-ounce thorn-proof waxed cotton with options for zip-in liners and a hood that is heritage you can touch. The wax surface resists weather. The cotton lining feels more natural than a thin synthetic interior. The collar has identity, the jacket can be re-waxed, and because Barbour jackets are so recognizable, the used market is strong if you know your size. The model that makes the most sense depends on your lifestyle. Bedale for shorter, easier city wear. Beaufort if you want more length and country jacket practicality. Ashby if you want a slimmer modern fit, though purists often prefer the classics. Buy new if you want the exact model, colour and fit. Buy used if you are patient and comfortable with wear, because waxed cotton can look better.
When it has history, the buyer who benefits most is the man who wants a jacket that does not scream luxury, but quietly becomes a signature.
Barbour proves that heritage is not a campaign. Heritage is a jacket you can maintain. Number 2, Patagonia.
Patagonia is not on this list because of hype. It is here because technical outerwear should be judged by technical details, and Patagonia is usually willing to tell you what the jacket is made of.
That matters. When a rain jacket says it is water resistant, that can mean almost nothing when a brand gives you fabric structure, membrane, face fabric, finish,
And factory details, you can actually evaluate it. The Patagonia Torrent Shell 3L is a good example. Patagonia lists it as a
100% recycled nylon ripstop face fabric, a polycarbonate PU membrane with 13% bio-based content.
made without intentionally added PFAS. The fabric is also listed as Blue Sign approved and made in a fair trade certified factory.
That is the difference between fashion rainwear and real rainwear. The money is in the layers. The money is in the membrane.
Money is in the fabric choice. The model that makes the most sense for most men is the Torrent Shell if you want reliable rain protection.
Without jumping into extreme alpine pricing, if you need insulation, look at insulated Patagonia pieces separately. Do not buy one jacket expecting it to do every climate.
Buy new when waterproof performance matters because coatings, membranes, and seam tape age. Buy used carefully. A used technical shell can be a good deal, but only if the seam tape is intact and the fabric still beads water after cleaning and reproofing.
This is the brand for the man who actually deals with weather, not imagined weather, real rain, real wind, real commuting, real hiking, real travel. Patagonia is not cheap, but when the specs are clear, the price has to answer to the product. That is how it should be.
Number 1, Carhartt. Carhartt is not always elegant. That is not the point. The point is that Carhartt understands a jacket as a tool, and a tool has to survive use. The Detroit jacket is the easiest example. Carhartt's iconic J01 Duck Detroit jacket is listed with 12-ounce, 100% ring-spun cotton duck, a blanket-lined body, quilted nylon sleeve lining, triple-stitched main seams. Those details matter because they are physical. 12-ounce cotton duck is not a marketing mood. Triple stitching is not a vibe.
A bi-swing back is not decoration. Those are construction choices made for movement, abrasion, and repeated wear. The model that makes the most sense is the Detroit. If you want a short work jacket that pairs with denim, boots, chinos, hoodies, or plain tees, a chore coat or active jacket may make more sense.
If you want more coverage or a hood, buy new if you want predictable sizing and current availability. Buy used if you want the broken-in look. Because Carhartt is one of those brands where wear can add character instead of destroying the garment, the buyer who benefits most is the man. Who wants a jacket he does not have to? Baby, you can throw it in the truck, wear it to work, wear it on the weekend.
Let it fade, let it soften, let it become yours. A fashion jacket tries to stay perfect. A workwear jacket earns its flaws.
That is why Carhartt belongs here. Now, here is how to judge any jacket in 60 seconds. First, pick it up. Weight is not everything,
but it tells you whether there is substance. A winter jacket that feels like a plastic bag should make you suspicious. A leather jacket that feels strangely light may be using thin skins. A canvas jacket with no body may not hold shape.
Second, rub the outer fabric between your fingers. Does it feel dense, dry, waxy, structured, smooth, or substantial? Or does it feel slick, hollow, and cheap?
Third, test the zipper. Do not just look at it, use it. A good zipper moves cleanly and feels confident. A cheap zipper catches, twists, or feels too light for the jacket. Fourth, pull gently at the pocket openings. Pockets fail because men use them. Keys, phone, wallet, hands, repeated stress.
If the pocket is flimsy, the jacket is telling you how it will age. Fifth, look inside. The inside is where cheap jackets confess.
Thin lining, loose threads, unfinished seams, bad pocket bags, no reinforcement, no structure. Sixth, read the composition label, not the hang tag, the actual label.
If the outside says premium, but the inside says 100% polyester, ask whether the price still makes sense. Polyester can be fine.
But polyester plus a big logo plus a high price is not automatically value. Seventh, look at the logo. If the logo is the most expensive looking part
Of the jacket, put it back. Finally, ask the main question. Can the price explain itself without the brand? If the answer is no,
you are not buying a jacket. You are buying permission to wear a name. Here are the smarter swaps instead of a cheap polyester bomber.
With a giant logo, look for a better nylon bomber, a clean Harrington, or a simple work jacket with stronger fabric.
instead of corrected grain or faux leather that looks shiny on day one, save for real leather or buy used from a maker with a track record.
And leather should crease, darken, and soften. It should not peel like old furniture. Instead of a fashion trucker jacket that exists only because the wash is trendy, look for durability. Look for heavier denim, cotton canvas, or a trucker with clean stitching and good proportions, instead of a mall parka with fake technical language.
Buy technical outerwear from a brand that explains the fabric, membrane, and construction, instead of a designer jacket with a simple build and a loud name.
Compare it against a specialist. If the specialist gives you better leather, better waxed cotton, better canvas, better rain protection, or better construction for the same money,
The choice becomes obvious. That is the real lesson. A good jacket does not need to shout the brand, it needs to prove the price.
In the fabric, in the zipper, in the lining, in the seam, in the shoulder, in the way it ages, in the way it still looks good.
After the first season, the third season, the fifth season, most men do not get fooled because they are stupid, they get fooled because jackets are emotional.
A jacket changes your silhouette, it makes you look broader, it gives you pockets, it becomes the first thing people see when you walk into a room. Brands know this. That is why they build the dream around the jacket before you ever inspect the product. But once you know what to look for,
the trick becomes obvious. Some brands sell you a jacket, some brands sell you the feeling of having bought one, and those are not the same thing.
the next time you are in a store, do not start with the logo, start with the cloth. Start with the zipper, start with the seams.
Start with the lining. Start with the question that exposes everything. Is the money in this jacket, or is the money in the label?
because a good jacket does not need to convince you with a story. It proves itself every time you wear it.